How's it going, everyone? So it's been quite some time since I last did a video, or stream rather, of Arc the Lad Twilight of the Spirits. Around 5 years or so, I believe now. So why the long hiatus? Well, to be honest, after starting this game back then with Amy B, life decided to throw a curveball at us and it was pretty much forgotten for the longest time. Fast forward to when I was recently introduced to PS now PS Plus, for the PS4 thanks to a fellow contributor. I then discovered the game was free to play for being a subscriber to the service. To this very day, I've yet to officially beat this game, and I've only gotten to the final boss once so long ago when the game was only out for a couple of years or so at the time. I do want to finish this, so finally I've decided to restart my journey again. Only this time, I'll be going solo from here on. So for those that have forgotten Chapter 1 of the game, I will be doing a recap before we move on to Chapter 2. So without further ado, let's begin. We begin with the scene where a mysterious girl is out by a fountain playing on a strange-looking instrument when suddenly airships appear out of the sky as if they're headed her way, which she then makes a run for. More about her later come Chapter 2. Meanwhile, we switch over to a small village called Ubel, where a one-on-one duel is about to take place between two well-trained swordsmen. On one side, you have our hero of the story, known as Kharg, with his friend Paulette cheering on from the sidelines. The other side being her father Lloyd, commander of the Defense Corps. The two fight, and Kharg comes out with his first win against him. Afterwards, another guy known as Banjo comes to have a word with Lloyd about a certain matter. Curious, Kharg decides to eavesdrop. Come to find out, a mysterious man was sighted around the Scrap Plateau and needs someone to go check it out. Kharg decides to be the one to do it, and Lloyd gives us some money to start things off. Before leaving, though, they head to Kharg's house to see his mother before heading off. Nafia doesn't seem to be in the house, but something shining catches Kharg's eye in the back room. Upon inspection, it appears to be a stone of some kind. More on that later. A spirit then appears out of thin air, calling him the Chosen One, and saying that darkness is coming and all that premonition stuff, and he needs to awaken to destroy, and things like that. Confused by what Kharg saw, he decides to just leave it for now as him and Paulette gear up and head for Scrap Plateau. Upon arriving there, they see a strange old man getting harassed by a bunch of Suskel squirrels. After helping him out, they learn that his name was Zev and that he was nothing more than a simple traveler from another land. Right, sure you are. Not really questioning it much, Kharg decides to head back and report their findings. Back at Kharg's house, Lloyd mentions that there have been Deimos sightings over near Plum Canyon. Worried about the mine workers, Kharg decides to pay a visit to Banjo to see how the reserves are. While they are fine for the moment, they still need to find out about why the workers aren't back yet. It wasn't long after that a commotion was heard in the square and find that a soldier was being carried back in by Lloyd. Their fears have been realized as Deimos had indeed been attacking the miners and some of the Defense Corps as well. Lloyd then decides to gather his forces to set off to Plum Canyon in hopes to quell this force. Kharg also wants to come, but Lloyd tells him no and that it's too dangerous. Leaving Kharg on his own, he decides to find a way to sneak out of the village to make his way over regardless. With a bit of trickery, he was given the key to the gate around the north side to help with a separate matter about a quote-unquote monster that's been stealing food. At the same time, Kharg also helped bring in Zev, who has been trying to find shelter from the forest. Making his way to Chaos Forest, Kharg comes across what appears to be, at first glance, to be a green-faced monster, but turns out to be a kid in a mask. Enter Maru, a proclaimed prince of some country he has no recollection of. More on that as the story unfolds. They are then ambushed by monsters as they team up to do away with them. After the fight, Maru decides to tag along with Kharg, to which he reluctantly agrees. Finally, they make it to Plum Canyon, and just in the nick of time too, as the Defense Corps are struggling with dealing with the Dracur. Kharg, Maru, and Paulette team up to do away with this mass group of Dracur. After the fight, Lloyd had harsh words instead of being thankful for Kharg's assist. Lloyd and Paulette decide to scout ahead for any more Deimos in the area. Kharg and Maru soon follow pursuit and run into some more trouble with another Deimos, but not a Drakkar this time, but a lupine creature. It was now 4 against 1 as the lupine makes a hasty retreat, swearing vengeance on them. Might have to do with the wife and child that Kharg and Maru saw killed over. Paulette was a one-piece. Lloyd, however, was not so lucky as he suddenly collapses to the ground, dead. In the last scene before Kharg's first chapter ends, the group are in mourning over Lloyd's sudden passing. Kharg decides to step up his game and take control as the new commander as he vows to protect the country by any means necessary. Next time, the recap continues as I'll go over Darc's first chapter and how his journey begins. See you next time.